We're talking with Mike
that's what
Elk, who's a
happened.
staff writer at In These Times. Mike, I wanted to get your take on something else that happened this week, and that is there's a campaign against raising the national minimum wage being led by a guy, I should say, at least there's a consultant or a lobbyist, a veteran consultant, a union-busting consultant, by the name of Rick Berman, who has funded a number of Orwellian-type groups against consumer rights, regulation, labor rights. This particular one against the minimum wage is called the Employment Policies Institute, and he funded a billboard in LA that, with Justin Bieber's image, that said, "Why is Justin Bieber so sad? Could it be because 24% of teens who want a job can't find one? Teen unemployment makes us all sad. Unfortunately, raising the minimum wage will only make things worse." Never mind that in states where the minimum wage has been raised, in some cases like Washington State, there is better job growth than many other parts of the country. It puts money in people's hands. It improves consumption. Many studies showing that it doesn't depress employment at all. Is this a new tactic, using a celebrity without their permission?
I don't know. I haven't really studied it. Haven't heard Justin Bieber come out and say anything about this quite yet. I mean, it's not unusual for union busters, though, to pull the dirtiest tricks in the book. They always do. I mean, that's just the nature of their craft, so it doesn't surprise me. But what I found was funny was that Ralph Nader got into the fray, and he tweeted out, Justin Bieber. It's ironic Justin Bieber would be used since he's from Ontario, Canada, where the minimum wage is $10.25.
Right, that's absolutely right. And of course, Canadian labor unions are, in some ways, have greater rights, or at least at this stage, though they are under attack as well, have greater power politically than American unions in many respects. It's just one of those things where if Bieber, I think, doesn't speak up at this point, now that he's been asked about it, he should at least disown it. He needs to speak up, because otherwise he's letting his image being used in the name of a campaign that doesn't really help teens or younger workers. I mean, the idea of that is just insane. I mean, something like 85% of the people that are on minimum wage are above the age of 18. And that's what kills me about all this. It reminds me, frankly, of the campaigns to cut Social Security, in which they pit young workers who are struggling in this employment market against old people who already have their benefits, when in fact it's the corporate interests and the people that are preventing us from having a more robust employment policy and getting real stimulus off the ground that are to blame here.
Yeah.
Mike Elk, it's always great to talk to you on Take Action News with David Shuster. Mike, and by the way, happy 27th birthday.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
Folks, if you don't read Mike Elk's stuff, if you don't read him, he's a staff writer in These Times magazine. Working in These Times is the name of their labor coverage. Follow him on Twitter at Mike Elk, like the animal. He's a social force in Washington, D.C. You'll regret not reading his stuff, because he's one of the most talented and fearless journalists out there. When Take Action News continues, we'll talk a little bit about an incident that happened this week when Megyn Kelly took Eric Erickson to school on Fox News. It's not the story that you think it is. Megyn Kelly sticking up for working families in a way that you might not have expected. Stick around when Take Action News continues after this.